And joining us, we have Connie Patillo, who is the Area Manager for Youth and Barra with Mowi Scotland. So I'll move on to Connie's slides and hand over to her. Thank you, Connie.
Yes, thank you. So as they said, my name is Connie and I work with Mowi, which is Scotland's largest producer of salmon. So if we move to the next slide, I've just kind of put together a brief overview of kind of what my job entails. So you can kind of see like the skill sets that's needed for this job. And then we'll look on to sort of how I came to this position, because I actually have only been in this position for about 4 or 5 weeks now. So I'm still learning, but that's what this industry is. It's always learning. You're always learning new skills. So it's a good one to get into. So currently as an area manager, my key responsibilities, I look after 8 salmon farms with a farm manager at each one of them. So communication skills is really important. I'm responsible for the production and biology of the salmon, so promoting excellent husbandry skills and welfare skills, looking after the salmon and making sure that their needs are put first. You have to have a good and strong biological knowledge of salmon, and we also use cleaner fish, so having that knowledge is really important to help make decisions. We've got to maximise the efficient use of resources, so there's lots of logical thinking, problem solving, those kind of skills. And we want to, as I said before, promote good fish health and welfare. We want to look to the future, so as Mary was talking about, there's lots of things coming up. We all want to progress and we want to develop and we want to get better at what we do. So part of my job is to start trialling new things and putting things forward to see how we can get better at what we're doing. And then stuff like budgeting. So as much as we talk about fish, there's also stuff for finance, those that love maths. There's loads of different skill sets that can be used for this job. So that's kind of an overview of what I do. And then in a typical day, it can be just as varied. So I'll visit a salmon farm, make sure you see the fish, you see the farm, you interact with the staff, because it gives you a good understanding of what's happening there. We meet with the site managers, we discuss what's going on, what they need for help, what they need support, do they need any resources, what can we facilitate. I speak to all my managers every day. It's very important that the communication skills are there and you keep an open line of communication. We go through finance stuff. We again do resources and look at the future planning for each site. So the next day, the next week, the month, the end of a cycle, we kind of look at that. And then I have meetings with contractors and suppliers. So that kind of summarises what my job does now. But to get to that job, I've had a wide variety of other roles. So if we go to the next slide, what I've got here is I've kind of put together how I got to where I am through my education, and then sort of the different roles I've had within aquaculture, because I've done different elements to sort of get to this point. So it's brought different skill sets that I've got along the way. So I'm from Australia, so I had a slightly different schooling, maybe. So, but I did the basics, just biology, maths, English, geography. We were lucky enough at school to have marine biology as a topic. So I'm very lucky that I had the chance to do that. So I studied in Australia till we're 18. So what we do in Australia, and then moved to the UK, and then I went to Stirling University and I studied there in a Bachelor of Science with a degree in marine biology. And there I actually did a thesis on lumpfish, which is kind of, I guess, the key that unlocked the door to aquaculture for me. So once I finished at uni, I stayed on and I did an internship there, which was really good, because I got to work with some excellent lecturers and we got to write the thesis fully and get it published. So we're really happy with that. So I did that for 3 months, and then I then got into a graduate program, which is actually funded and supported by SAIC, or it was supported by SAIC. So I did the junior executive leadership program there, and that was my step into aquaculture, I guess. So from there, I was the graduate biologist at a wrasse hatchery. So I got to use all my microscopy skills, histology skills. We did lots of plankton sampling. And then I moved on to a cleaner fish technician role, which fit well with working at the RAS hatchery and doing a thesis on lumpfish. And then that progressed into a health manager's role, where again we used a lot of science-based skills in taking samples, making assessment on fish health. And then I went on to become the farm manager at one of the sites on Skye, and then recently from there become the area manager out in the Western Isles. So what's good about aquaculture is that they're always developing. So even within the company like Mowi, they're still looking internally to make sure you're developing your skills. So we do online training, we do like physical actual training, so like boats, telehandling, all that kind of skill sets you can get on the job as well. So you don't necessarily have to come with like a biology degree. You can come as long as you're open and interested, then you'll learn something from aquaculture and you'll do well. So yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at with aquaculture, and I think it's a good industry to get into. So yeah.
Thank you, Connie. I see as well that you're continuing your learning with a part-time master's, as well as the fact, congratulations on your new role, taking on a larger area of responsibility as well. So that's fantastic. I think one of the things for me when I was looking at what you were doing there, the opportunities and just how you've moved around, and obviously the sort of broad range of things that you've looked at, I found really interesting. And I did have a wow moment as well when you had the opportunity to study marine biology at school. At a little, wow, that'd be brilliant. How cool is that? You know, we don't get to do that here. That'd be great. So in terms of sort of, you mentioned sort of the continual training, and you've obviously got sort of online stuff, you've got physical training, and you're also continuing your studies and things as well. I suppose one of the questions you asked, you've just got into a new role, but where do you see yourself going with this in terms of continuing on with that training?
Well, like I said, the master's is more like a personal goal for myself to further develop my knowledge and understanding. And what's quite nice now about the role that I've moved into is that I have the opportunities now to try innovations that are coming out there and see how that will shape the future. And I'm hopefully, being a woman, get more women into the industry, because I think it's really important that we sort of get a wide variety of representations within the industry.
Well, thank you very much.